Today we have joining us in the session Falmouth University from Falmouth, England in the live session today. So I take this opportunity to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Sam Bruney, Regional Manager at Falmouth University. Welcome, Sam. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me to this session. Yeah, great to see you as always, and looking forward to a really interesting session today. If you're in the audience, think up some good questions for me. You'll have a chance to ask them during the next 30 to 60 minutes.
Thank you, and we are also looking forward to the same. And we also have with us Mr. Somnath Nandi, the Vertical Head for UK at Global Reach, joining the discussion. Welcome, Somnath.
Hello, everyone.
So, to take the discussion forward, we'll be going ahead with the Q&A session with some questions which are frequently asked questions by aspiring students. And we also encourage our audience who are watching us to, put their questions in the comment so that we can answer them live. So let's begin the session with my first question to Sam. Sam, I would like to know, how will you introduce Falmouth University to the Indian students? Over to you.
Thanks, Supriya. So ideally, I'd like to put you on a plane, bring you over and introduce you and show you the wonderful university in person, but we can't do that now. In a few words, I'd say it's a creative arts university. So our motto is creativity in everything. And we believe that there's fantastic opportunities in the creative industries. And our job is to prepare students for those marvelous careers. So as well as lots of creative courses that you may have heard of, like fine art or graphic design, illustration, there's so many things like photography, fashion, games, and alongside all those creative courses, we also have a business school as well. So they focus on some of the creative areas of business, such as entrepreneurship or digital marketing. So at heart, that's what we do. We believe in creating an environment in which creativity can flourish. We're also very lucky in terms of our location. It's such a beautiful place, Falmouth. It's part of Cornwall, which is like a coastal resort area in the southwest of England. So I think those two things combined, students get this quality creative education, but in a very peaceful, beautiful setting. And that helps innovation flourish. So it's not a large university, but we are well renowned in what we do. We were #1 arts university in the UK in the Times and Sunday Times ranking last year. And we also have a number of different world rankings, such as games is a very popular area at the moment, particularly for students from India, actually. So there's a number of different renowned things if you look at the rankings. So that's how I'd quickly introduce in words, but the best thing is to see it. And if you go on our website after this session, there's some great 360-degree tours, videos, and your eyes can, learn a lot more than your ears, I think, in this way.
Well, thanks. I think we have, quite a few, areas where a student can study both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. And I think now the next question that comes in mind is that what are the popular programs for both UG and PG? If you can, let the audience know.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not a huge university, so don't worry, I'm not going to have to reel off 100 or 1,000 different courses for you. In fact, over my shoulder, you can see some of the broad subject areas. I think for those students or parents who are considering for bachelor's education, it would be quicker to say which creative subjects we don't offer. Really, any of the creative subjects are offered by Falmouth University. It's one of the largest arts universities in Europe. So you have things such as fine art, graphic design, illustration, but you also have architecture, you have fashion, you have games, you have photography, You have media production, English, creative writing, so many different areas come under the creative industries. And by working closely with our professional partners and our networks, we make sure that we really cover all bases in terms of the creative industries that are flourishing today in the UK. At postgraduate level, it's more slimmed down, more curated portfolio, and there we're really focused on the really in-demand skills that are needed to get ahead in today's world. Again, the focus on creative industries. So we have a lot of opportunities around games. We see, you said, which are the popular courses. In terms of the most popular courses, I would say that at the moment we're seeing a lot of interest around the games industry. It may surprise some people, it may not surprise you to know that the games industry is absolutely colossal in size. It's larger today than the film industry and the music industry combined. It's that big, and it's growing all the time as people have more time. And we obviously saw in recent years lots of people getting into games, and that's all translating into interesting career opportunities for students. So we've got a big suite of games programs at bachelor's, but also at master's level. And the games are built by teams of designers, artists, programmers, many different specialists working together. And that's the approach we take. So we have the different specialisms for all the different roles within the games industry, but then we give people a very practical experience working collaboratively with the other specialists. Other popular courses at master's level would include our creative advertising program, which has both copywriting and art direction pathways, again, focused on the different job roles within industry. And our communication design course is also very popular at the moment from India. And that includes, it has a lot of scope. So it's covering everything from UX, UI, through to publication design, branding, copywriting, development, a lot of flexibility and opportunities for people to come onto that course from one particular background and then to develop a different string to their bow. And film and television, I think, is another course that's in hot demand at the moment. That's a generalist course for students who want to move into directing, writing, producing, cinematography. It's quite a generalist course with role to specialize. And then the final suite of programs, which is always popular, are the business programs. So Cornwall Business School offers international business management, marketing, and our flagship program, entrepreneurship and innovation management. So these courses are always in demand because organizations always need good managers, good marketers, and these skills will always be in demand from choosy employers who are looking for the best candidates. So there's lots of these courses. What we do is a little different. We make it very, very practical, and we keep small class sizes, as we do for all our creative courses. So in this way, we try to make our courses stand out and our graduates stand out in the workplace. So in terms of the bachelor's courses, all the creative subjects, and then a string of business courses and computing courses, and at postgraduate level, much more slimmed down portfolio, with the popular courses being around games, around communication design, creative advertising, film and TV, and then those business courses.
Well, thank you, Sam. I think that was quite comprehensive. And so I think students are liking the gaming, option that you have, and we are starting to get questions. So the first question that comes to us is, what are the requirements for studying an undergraduate degree in gaming? Over to you to answer.
Yeah, great course. So, I mean, the first thing to say to any students in the audience or any parents who are watching is, we don't teach gaming in our schools in UK. So we're not expecting that anybody who's coming on to a game development program will have any prior academic learning about games. What we do want is somebody who's got a passion for learning about that and who's motivated to study in their own time as well as in the class time. And the environment we have, it's perfect for anybody who's into games, because we've got a large games department, lots of students and faculty who are really passionate about the subject. And then you've got the industry standard equipment, facilities, and I guess during the day, people build games for their study, for their class. And in the evenings, people play each other's games. So it's a wonderful choice if you're motivated by games. Of course, it's not enough to just say, okay, you need to be interested in games. We do look at the academics as well. So we're looking at, for students who want to go into the more artistic side, we would need to see some portfolio of artwork. It doesn't need to be specific to games. And we also have lots of courses around programming or designing games. For this, we may have an interview with you, and we would also be looking at your mathematics knowledge, which we could see in your 10th, and check if you studied that in your 12th. It's a bit different for each course, but the good news is that if you're not qualified immediately to join on to the games program, we also have a foundation route as well. So that would just address any gaps in your knowledge so far. But the headline is, you don't need any specific background to join game development course, and you will have flexibility during the course to pick and choose your path into the games industry. So we're not expecting you to be familiar now with all the different jobs you could do in games industry. You won't try out, certainly in sort of professional standard game studio environment, all the different roles and responsibilities. So we'll give you that chance. And if you want to switch, we're large enough and fluid enough that we can move you, for example, from doing game programming. You might realize you're more interested in designing the games, making them fun to play. So it's a really brilliant place. I love to attend the games department and see just all the communication between students, and everyone's so highly motivated. And best of all, I can go and play some of their games, and really fun. It's fun, but there's also great careers there as well. So that's the important thing for parents to know. It's not something that would have appeared on career advisors' lists of top careers 10, 20 years ago. But today, this is a very rewarding, well-paid career if you have the talent and the right qualification.
Thank you. And so now, listening to what you have mentioned, students want to know: are you supporting them with scholarships also, so that they are able to pursue their course of passion, or they can pursue their passion?
Fantastic. Yes. So the good news in terms of students coming to the UK, and obviously Global Reach are experts on all the different UK options, and I'm sure everyone attending the admissions day tomorrow will get even more insight around that, as well as other study destinations. But the UK is generally a public university system, and that means that the fees that are invested in education remain in education. There's no shareholders or no profits, no private individuals involved in education in the public universities like Falmouth. So although the costs are high, the returns are high as well. You're getting quality education. All your tuition fees are being invested in your education. But that said, they're still high. They're still high because the quality is high. The fees are also high. So we do what we can to reduce those fees through some scholarships. The UK does not tend to have full scholarships. I think there are some places in the world that would have some very prized full scholarships. The UK is not unfortunately offering that because, as I said, the fees need to cover the education. But in terms of the scholarships that we currently have at Falmouth University for students who are joining this September, firstly, I'll speak to that in case anybody is thinking, I want to go in later this year. We do have £2,000 scholarships for every student who joins from India onto one of our courses this September. So that will be a £2,000 scholarship deducted from the tuition fee for every bachelor's and master's course at Falmouth University for September 2024. There is a slightly larger scholarship for students who are joining our Cornwall Business School, one of those master's courses I mentioned, international business, marketing, or entrepreneurship. Those scholarships are about £3,000. The 2025 students, at 2026 students, you'll need to wait a bit longer because we've not announced our scholarships officially for next year. But I can tell you that for the last few years, we've offered scholarships of between £3,000 and £5,000 as merit-based scholarships that you would need to make an application for once you have your offer from Falmouth University. And every year we have a good number of students from India who are at the ceremony to receive from the Vice-Chancellor the merit-based scholarship. So a bit more news on that to come in the next couple of months, but certainly we'd be looking to offer some scholarships. Certainly if you're a resident of India, there's a very good chance that you could enjoy a scholarship for Falmouth University if you're qualifying.
Thank you, Sam. I'm sure students are making a note of all the information that you're, letting us know. And so we have one more question. How many backlogs are accepted by Falmouth?
Great question. And I've worked at different universities over many years, and I know that each university has its own different policy on this. It becomes very complicated. And that's one of the reasons that students and their parents or relatives turn to organizations such as Global Reach or Plan Study Abroad, because it can become a bit monotonous checking with each university what all the different requirements are. In Falmouth's case, we don't have a set of rules and checks that we're doing on each and every qualification we receive. Instead, we try to treat each applicant as a human being and look at all the information about that person. We wouldn't say no to somebody just because they have a certain number of backlogs. There could be a perfectly good reason why they have those backlogs. And for example, in a creative arts university like Falmouth, it may be that you have studied something previously which wasn't really where your heart was or where your strengths lie. So, for example, you might have been studying a very scientific or very like a commerce course, whereas actually you wanted to be a graphic designer. So it would be strange if we said, no, you can't be a graphic designer because you have too many backlogs in your accounting exams. So really we need to get to know, why is somebody applying for our course? What can they bring to the course? And will they be successful on the course? And we want to know that, not just so that will they pass or fail. We want them to be happy student and to contribute to our creative community. So every application at Falmouth goes to the people who are teaching the students. It's not some administrators or some people in the office making a decision on your application. You have a chance to speak directly to the course team, the faculty, the professors who will be teaching you. So if you can show that you love the subjects that they're so passionate about, that's already going a long way. So in writing your SOP, as we call it, this is your chance to demonstrate your motivation. Don't be tempted to copy somebody else's work or some generic information. Just speak directly as you would to an old friend and tell us what makes you so enthusiastic about studying this course. Why have you chosen the course? How will it help you develop? So we're looking at the SOP, but that just gives us a taste. What we really would like to do is to have the conversation with you. If it's a creative course, we'd want to see some of your work and hear from you, ask you questions about it. So if it's a course that requires a portfolio, we don't make a decision based just on looking at the portfolio and decide whether to interview you or not. We offer everybody an interview and a chance to show us your portfolio. So when you're putting together your creative work, if you're applying for a course like, let's say, fashion or photography, where we really need to see the quality of your work, you would be given a chance to pick an online interview and then to upload your portfolio anytime before the interview and then discuss it with us. And you can also plan out your portfolio in that way, because you don't want to put more in your portfolio than you have time to go through in a 30-minute interview. So that's a long answer to a question that was just about backlogs, but hopefully that answers a few other questions people might have in them.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sam. It's quite insightful, and this flexibility is very much, required for students, because that gives them the, courage to, take the decision and at least apply and see whether they have a chance or not. So,
absolutely. I mean, it helps. We're teaching creative courses. If we were building bridges, we would definitely have some very strict rules about who could join the course. But for creativity, it's not always easy to measure on paper.
Yeah, you can't have boundaries for creative people, actually. So that's really there. Okay, so I think now I will ask my next question to Mr. Nandi. Because see, after getting all the information that Sam has given us as of now to the audience, say a student wants to apply right away for 2024, what do you suggest the student to do? Over to you.
Yeah, so thanks for asking that question, Supriya. I mean, obviously, if somebody wants to apply to Falmouth, they're more than welcome. I mean, we will get them connected to Sam and things can happen right away, but they have to also ensure that their documents are all in place. As you know, while applying to a foreign university, you need certain set of documents. And also, because it is more towards the later part of the application cycle. Now we are already towards the end of July, and the course start date is around the 3rd week of September. I believe those students who are, very clear in their mind and have, all the documents and finances ready, they should definitely come and attend the the global admission fair tomorrow, and our counselors can definitely support in getting those students enrolled for September. So this is very critical. I mean, I would definitely suggest, if you have your documents, your finances sorted, this is the right time. You cannot wait further. Okay, and just in case you miss on the September 2024 intake, there is another opportunity. That is a Jan intake. But you have to understand that for Jan intake, majority of the courses are not offered. So it's a smaller intake compared to the September intake. Undergraduate courses are usually offered in the September intake. So students might miss out on the undergraduate programs if they want to apply in January. But I'll have to check with Sam, possibly if you are starting off with any undergraduate programs in Jan, then obviously you can suggest that. But as far as my knowledge goes, hardly any university offers undergraduate programs in the Jan intake. So any postgraduate students missing out on the September 2024 should be able to apply in the Jan 2025 intake. And also for the undergraduate students, there is a very clear message that usually the UCAS application process, which is a common application process for all UK universities, that opens in the month of October. So that is an ideal period for them to consider applying for any undergraduate program which starts in September 2025. So 3 things to remember: if your documents are ready for September 2024, please do come connect with your counselors at Global Reach and get your application sorted as early as possible. Tomorrow is the admissions day. We are organizing a virtual event. Please come over to that event and get your applications processed. Point number 2, if you miss on the September intake, The next available intake for you is Jan 2025. That is predominantly for postgraduate programs, and undergraduate students, they should start applying for September 2025 from October onwards when the UCAS application process opens.
Thank you, Somnath. This is noted. So I think we are going to get quite a few students joining us tomorrow for the event and also reaching out to us with certain queries, right? Okay. Now moving on, the next question to Mr. Nandi is that if there are any scholarships that are still, available which students can apply?
Well, every university have their own scholarship schemes. You just heard what Sam has said. Falmouth is offering £2,000 scholarship for undergraduate students, and for postgraduate students, particularly in the business-related areas, they are offering around £3,000. Now, similar is the case with other UK institutions. They would be offering scholarships in the range of £2,000 to £8,000. And this year, actually, we have seen a fabulous number of scholarships being offered to international students from the UK institutions, and the scholarship amounts were pretty large as well. But these are all very specific to the universities. Apart from that, there are other public scholarships which are very competitive. But they have specific deadlines. Those deadlines can be checked at the British Council website. To name a few of such, global scholarships are the GRET scholarships, the Chevening scholarships, then the Rhodes scholarships, the Commonwealth scholarships. These are some of the very competitive scholarships, and these are to a large extent, covers majority of the cost for the student, including tuition fees as well as airfares. Say, for example, a Chevening scholarship would cover a complete master's course tuition fee plus the airfare as well. But they have certain conditions. The student has to have certain number of years of experience before they can apply to Chevening scholarships. For the GRET scholarships, again, the participating institutions, they would offer something between £3,000 to £5,000. That's the usual range of scholarships that are being offered through the GRET scholarships.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nandi. So we have one more question that we have got, and that is for Sam. What is the scope of studying graphic design at Falmouth University? Over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Supriya. Yeah, if I interpret that question, it's about what would be the scope. In fact, the question could mean like, what is the scope to study at Falmouth, or what is the scope for those students who do study in terms of their careers? So I'll answer both questions briefly.
Yeah, I believe that's both. Studying as well as a career afterwards, after completion of the course, what will be, that is what a student is wanting to know.
Great. So I mentioned at the start, we offer all the creative courses you can imagine at bachelor's level. So it's no surprise that graphic design is one of the bachelor honours courses that is very well established and famous at Falmouth University. So the graphic design students have marvelous scope after the course. The motto in this particular department is, we may be the furthest from London, but we're the closest to industry. And what that means is that we have very nice tie-ups with agencies, with design agencies, and the way that we teach the course is also simulating the experience of working in the design industry. So we get our students accustomed to the methodologies of working with things such as brief-led teaching, competition briefs, and really insight into how to succeed in the design industry by taking our students out through guest lectures or through actual field trips to see design agencies and understand what a graphic designer does. After the course, we've got a very good employment track record. So our junior designers are working in areas such as editorial and publishing, branding, packaging, so many different areas of digital innovation. But they take roles in lots of different agencies and organizations. Some you may have heard of, like Apple. Others would be maybe more distinctive to graphic design, like AKQA, Superunion, Design Bridge, Someone, Jack Renwick Studio, Profit, Mother, examples from our most previous cohort. Also in the creative world, there's opportunities for people who want to be their own boss, or at least set their own projects. So with internet technologies and communications and platforms, these days you can set up as a freelance designer, work anywhere in the world, take commissions from all over. You need some other knowledge and skills and know-how the university can provide. So our careers team has a program for students who want to be their own boss, to give them all that know-how about how to run the business, how to market for clients, how to make sure that you're doing everything in the regulations. But yeah, we've got lots of freelance designers working as well in areas such as graphic design, UX, UI, design strategists, content developers, art workers, motion designers, so many different areas. But this graphic design course also gives you scope to move into an adjacent field as well. There's lots of different course titles at the university, but really the sort of the lines between the different courses are quite blurred. And more than anything, we're trying to teach creative professionals how to soak up inspiration and to use many different media, and to respond to the different provocations or the challenges that we give them in new and interesting ways. So the way that we teach and the way that we encourage students to work with other departments through things such as our taster weeks, or through co-collaboration with different departments, means that graphic designers can also step into other careers, things like filmmaking, illustration, photography, archiving, even without an additional postgraduate qualification. So the scope is very wide-ranging. In terms of how does a career look in graphic design at the moment, our careers service would work with all students, whichever course they're on, to help them understand the opportunity. We also have a tie-up with an organization called Student Circus that was actually founded by two Indian graduates who came to the UK and thought there was an opportunity to make it easier to sort of matchmake between international students and good employers who had all the right paperwork and motivation to hire international graduates. So that's another additional channel we have for our international students. They also do some webinars with us and work with our current students just to demystify how is UK hiring, how might it be a bit different from what you know from India. So for one big difference is on-campus hiring doesn't really happen in the UK. Instead, students need to go to the employer. So as an arts university, we're particularly specialist in placing students in those creative industries. So we know how the employers are searching, how they're hiring, what they're looking out for, and we can translate that into some practical steps that our students can do. So our undergraduate students are asked to set out a 5-year timeline, and we have regular meets to see how they're progressing in terms of their career preparation. But yeah, lots of practical steps. If you go to any UK university, I'm sure you'll find some very good careers support, and my advice would be engage with them from the start of the course, because they can just be giving you some things to do. Even if it's just a couple of hours each week, it can make it a lot easier to find the opportunity you deserve at the end of the course. And you maybe already have a few job offers in your hand before you sit your final exams or do your final project. So I'd start early, but in terms of the scope for graphic design, it's one of those areas that's being transformed by technologies. So again, we're making sure that our students aren't competing with those technologies, but are harnessing those technologies, utilizing those technologies. But the scope is very strong in areas like UX, UI, for example. But there's always a demand for good communication, visual communication from businesses, from government, from all organizations. So yeah, that's the language we're teaching our students. Again, I would urge people, trying to explain with words is probably not the best way to talk about what visually communicative courses do well. Have a look on our webpage, see the pictures, see the videos. You'll get a better understanding of what we do and what our students, what our amazing students do each year.
Well, thanks, Sam. It was really, really insightful that the university supports students regarding their employment, and it's not only for graphic design. I believe it's for all courses that the students are going to study at Falmouth. So, what other facilities are there additionally apart from employment support? What exclusive to Falmouth, something you have to share that like to?
Yes, well, we do. I mean, exclusivity is overrated, and I think it's more important. It ticks all your boxes. You need to think about what's important to you, and see, what ticks all the boxes. It doesn't need to be exclusive, but in the case of Falmouth, we do actually have something quite unique, which is our location. So we're not in a big city. We're not in London or Manchester. So if one of your boxes is I must be in a big city, I must be at the heart of a big metropolis, 24/7 hectic place, unfortunately, Falmouth is probably not the right choice for you. However, if you do like something a bit more peaceful, a bit more beautiful in terms of your environment, a bit less crowded, Falmouth is in an area of outstanding natural beauty in the UK. It's in a resort area. So what do we have that's unique? We have 4 amazing beaches. So we're surrounded by and we've got lots of beautiful coastal walks and fresh air and amazing flowers and in the spring, and tourists arriving in the summer, and lots of festivals and things for them. So it's a holiday place, and it has those vibes. It's somewhere that you can relax and just focus on your studies and having a good time without any worries. So it's a very safe place. In the England Police Crime Survey, England and Wales Crime Survey, I think it's the 2nd safest of all the universities in terms of any crime. And better than that, it doesn't feel in any way unsafe. So not only is it safe, but it also feels really safe, and you can just relax and be well supported by the university as well. So we've got excellent student support, very good counsellors, and because we have small class sizes, we're always looking out for our students. But in terms of more generally, what can you expect in terms of the facilities and the environment? So if you were arriving in Cornwall and you're flying in and you fly over the Falmouth and the university, I've described a bit about what you'd see. A very green place. It's surrounded by the ocean. It's got these beaches, lots of space to spread out. But then when you get onto the campus, it's a similar story as well. So we have 2 campuses. We've got the Wood Lane campus, where we have some of those traditional subjects like architecture, graphic design, fine arts. And then you've got a much larger Penryn campus, which again is very, very green, lots and lots of gardens. And in terms of going in even closer and going into the buildings and seeing where you're going to be studying, compared to, say, some of the big city universities that you may know, you'll probably notice a difference that you've got a lot more space. So if you're a fashion student, you've got a lot more space to spread out and your dedicated studio space. Or business school, you're not in a very big lecture hall. You've got smaller seminar rooms, and we have much smaller classes. So it's much more comfortable, I guess, experience, and you've got a lot more space to put all your things if you're an artist or designer, which makes a difference. So the facilities themselves, and if you're going along to the UK Admissions Day tomorrow or Global Admissions Day tomorrow, I'm sure you'll hear that this is a story common across the UK, but because of the government inspection, the standards are very, very high in terms of the facilities that we must have. And if you go onto our website, I would really recommend pick out a course that you're interested in or subject area, and you'll, on the page, there will be an image of the facilities, and you'll be able to go in with your mouse and explore in a 360-degree way, leave the room, go up and see an aerial view, and really go through the campus in that way. And there's also lots of videos and also details of all the different, for example, the specifications of the PC computers you can use, the cameras if you're doing photography or film and TV, the editing suites, production suites, gaming computers, whatever it may be. So it's industry standard. What we're trying to do is trying to get you familiar with the environment that is used in the companies or organizations that you aspire to work in, so that those leading equipments and facilities are all there for you. And of course, it wouldn't be complete unless the teachers also are coming from industry as well and know their stuff as well. So the full experience, not just the facilities, is going to be a window into hopefully what will become your future career.
Thank you, Sam. I think the students have got now many reasons to choose Falmouth University for their, higher studies. And thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us and for your valuable time in this session today. We look forward to have you again in one of such sessions in the future as well. And students, if you are, looking at applying to Falmouth and you want some more information, please feel free to reach out to us. And any closing remarks from your end, Sam, if you can, just give a brief, and then followed by Mr. Nandi, then we will be closing the session.
I would just encourage people to ask questions as they have done today. So if you're going to find the right opportunity for your higher studies, you need to search through so many different courses. Having support from somebody experienced, such as Global Reach, the PSA, can really give you a shortcut so that you're just looking at the options that are suitable for you as per your preferences and your credentials. But then it's up to you to tell the university or your advisor what are the questions that really matter to you. So it's not something where you can keep quiet and just magically arrive at the right place. You need to keep asking those questions and think carefully, reflect on the answers, get some insights from some experienced people, but ultimately you need to decide both with your head and with your heart, where are you going to be happy and where also makes sense in terms of your future career plans. The great thing is that if you do this thinking and reflecting, it also really helps you to write an excellent SOP, personal statement, because that's also what the university wants to know. We want to know you've been through that process, and we want to know why you've chosen this particular course, this particular university. Falmouth, we'd be very happy to support any questions that anybody has for September 2024 or for September 2025. Or further in the future. We do have a local member of staff based in India who works very closely with Global Reach. So you don't need to remember what the time is in the UK. If you want to pick up a phone or do a WhatsApp, we've got a local representative who get in touch with you. And don't stop asking questions when you get to your university. That's also the best way to get the most out of your studies and out of your career support. So I'd encourage everyone to continue the inquiring, questioning that you've done today. Do reflect on what you've heard. Do attend the admissions day tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see some of you at Falmouth University in the future. Would be wonderful.
Absolutely. We are hopeful that that's going to happen.
And I have one final thing to say.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to thank yourself and Mr. Somnath for inviting Falmouth University to today's Insta Live. I think it's a really great initiative that you've been doing for some time, and it's really important way for students and their parents and advisors, to make an informed decision. So thank you for what you're doing.
Well, the pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much for joining us. And now, Mr. Nandi, if you would like to, leave your comments.
I completely concur what Sam had just said. I mean, it's important to tick the boxes. What is most important to you, because that would give you the complete satisfaction after you have completed the program. I mean, if you are a city person, you would not like a scenery in a village. So that's very critical. And the other thing, what I wanted to mention, along with all the facilities that Sam talked about, obviously, we understand that international students, when they leave their home, and particularly undergraduate students, when they leave their home country and go to a completely different new country, different culture altogether, absolutely, maybe, are different weather conditions as well. It's important that you start preparing yourself to adapt to those, conditions, because that sometimes actually creates a lot of problem for youngsters who are traveling for the overseas for the first time and staying away from the family. And the universities are always equipped to support you in mental health situation. That's a standard procedure for all international universities like Falmouth and on the other universities that we have in the UK. But my point here is that whenever you are preparing for overseas countries, whether it is going to UK, Canada, Australia, whichever country you are planning to go, start preparing yourself. According to the conditions, inquire about the conditions, inquire about the situations in that particular, city where this university is located, and try and train your mind to suit those conditions, because otherwise it would be a big problem. That's what my final advice to all students who are listening to us today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nandi. So now to the students, if you are looking at admissions in 2024 or in 2025, please join us tomorrow for the Global Admission Day between 3 to 5. And you can register at the PSA website or the Global Reach website, and you will be able to attend the session tomorrow and speak to us one-to-one and discuss your options further. Okay, and also stay tuned, like and follow our page for such insightful sessions in the future as well. And have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.